going, guys? So we just had NFP. Let's see if we can pull up the numbers. NFP better than expected. Oh, actually, it's lower than last time. Nice. So we saw this big push up. 425 points over the last hour. Looks like for most of the session though, we ranged outside of this, or sorry, inside of this zone where we left off yesterday. Let's just hop back up here. Let's remove everything and just start fresh real fast. I'm gonna hide this for a second. We still are inside this big zone on the daily. We got the high there, ultimate low there. Again, I'm marking these because if price were to break either one of these, you have clean traffic to the left up here. So if we were to break this high, we should see a mirror of what happened right here. Same thing with down here. If we break this low, if you look left, we have clean traffic down to the left right there. So we should see a mirror down to this level if this low's broken right there. So go ahead and remove everything. Mark the high and the low. Let's mark our zones for potential targets. I don't think this is going to break today, especially with NFP that just happened. I'm not sure if we're even going to get a setup today, but it's more about learning and just spending time on the charts. So we have our zones marked up. We have our high and our low of this range that we're currently in. Yesterday we took advantage of the shorts. Today I'm not sure. The only buys I'm seeing right now are if we actually do break above that daily level right there. We have a lot of support, a lot of resistances right up inside of here. So I mean, we could break above these, but ultimately I'm not going to place anything until we get above this high right there. For shorts though, we could potentially see in the next little bit, if we started to see, we have this resistance right here. Resistance right there. So if we start seeing this nice resistance form right here, and then even if we saw a support form, so if we saw a resistance form here and then we started to create a support down somewhere inside of there, so we kind of created this push up, and then we just kind of make our own range. We kind of range until the opening, and then we make that move down. That's where we can execute on sales right below there with our stops above that candle. So that's kind of the plan for sell side. Buy side, if we do reach up there, then obviously we'll look for entries, but that's pretty decent ways away, and based on how big the moves have been over the past 2 weeks, I doubt we break out of this today. One rule I do have when you're trading these breakouts is you can't take a trade if the impulse has started from a good distance away. So what that kind of means here is if this were to break this high, I wouldn't be able to take a trade. And if the same candles continue to break this high, you still can't take it because it's so overextended. What I need is it to push up, form some kind of resistance here, some kind of support here, range right here, and then break above. Then we can take our entry right inside of there to continue upwards. That's just something that through my experience I've been able to kind of dial in and find what works best for me. So hopefully, yeah, it's looking like we're gonna come down a little bit, but if we do create a nice range right here, we have a clean move to the left, which was just this news event right there. So we could see a nice range and then a retracement back inside here. I also do see we have a fair value gap or an imbalance right inside here. So we could target down to this level and then even continue upwards, which was where we could take ourselves into this level and then exit around here because it could continue upwards after that. So now let's take a look at gold. I'm not going to be trading gold, but we can look at it, do a nice little analysis. Never hurts. Gold's pretty pretty bullish on the daily. We're kind of in this channel moving upwards right here. It's bouncing up and down inside here. So let's see. On the daily, our next level of supports is up at 1875-ish. And then, sorry, our next level of resistance are 1875. Supports are probably, yeah, probably somewhere down around 1780, somewhere in there. So that kind of leaves us with this zone to play with. Go to the 4 hour. We're still making higher highs, higher lows, making these pushes up, retracements down. This kind of made a big push up and I guess it retraced to the 0.5, but I would not be surprised if we see another leg down inside of these lower retracement levels and then saw another push up to 1875 to ultimately tap into that level that's been tested before. So overall, daily bullish. 4 hour, you could make an argument that we need to retrace more. If you drop the hour, this is going to be a break of structure right here. So you have this fib too. So, and we are inside these retracement zones. So you could see a making higher highs, higher lows, and then we broke structure right here. So this is your leg to break structure. You fib that. Now we retrace up into there, so you could see a move down to these levels where we start seeing rejections, then to could ultimately continue upwards. Let's drop down to 30, see if we can see anything. Yeah, just the same stuff overall. Okay, so this is kind of the same bias we have on US30. We made this move up. There's nothing on the buy side for now. There's too much rejection up here. So the only trade I'd be able to see on gold is if we form support down here, we start rejecting right here, and then we start breaking below that support, and you can start breaking below this support right here. That's where you can start taking sells to the downward side as soon as the lows are broken with stops above the candle. But gold is really bullish, so anytime you're going against the trend, it's definitely risky. So just got to be careful with that. DXY, let's take a look at this. DXY saw a heavy drop at NFP. Okay, need to look at the weekly on it. Seeing this candle close right here. So if it closes bullish like this, then I think over the next couple weeks we're going to continue to see upwards pressure, especially up into these inefficiencies up inside of here. But as for today, it's leaving a nice rejection wick to this resistance up in here. So we could potentially see it turn around today and continue to flip this candle, this daily candle. On the 4 hour, we're making higher highs and higher lows as of now, but drop down to the 1 hour, it's getting close to seeing a break of structure, so you could see a short-term trend reversal potentially. Might see it retrace during the session. We might see it we might see a retracement up inside of these zones where we will see another leg down potentially, or instead of rejecting here, we could continue up here, break the highs. Once we break those highs, oops, sorry, what was I on? DXY. Okay. Once we break those highs, next targets to look for. Obviously, we have rejection wicks 105,830. But then really our next level is around 107. That's where we can target over the next couple weeks if we do manage to break that up bullish. But as for this session, it's pretty difficult to know what it's going to do because we're overall bullish, but on the lower time frames, we did break structure with that NFP news. We could see that retracement back up, or just a complete move back up above the highs. So let's keep an eye on that as we get closer to our trading time, which is in about 15 minutes. Check on GJ. Sorry. Okay. GJ looks very ugly. But overall, GJ is bullish. It's in a bullish uptrend on the macro side of things. But if we scroll in, the daily's kind of on a small little micro downtrend right here. If you take the fib, this is gonna be ugly, but if you take the low to the high, we actually rejected off the 718. So we could see, if we see a break above 162,300, we see a move up above here, then we're going to continue upwards to 170, potentially just creating a new high after that because we are in that rejection zone on the higher time frames. But as for sells, there's this low right here. After that, you can see there's clean traffic right here. There's nothing to worry about till at least 157,485. So break of this low right here. Break of this low should be a good continuation to the downside to the next levels, which is down here. For the bull side, it's not as clean. If you break this level and you look up here, this is the type of price action you want to avoid. Is something inside of this box where it's just kind of stepping because there's no clear momentum. You don't know where. There's so many different areas of support and resistance inside of here. It's basically all just one level of resistance if you were to be looking left from down below. So you don't really want to trade into here because you don't know where it's going to stop. It could turn around at any point. It could dip in barely and then reject. It could go halfway, reject it, or it could blow all the way through it. What you want are moves like this down move right here, where there's no rejection here. It's clean traffic. The only rejection was up at the top, and then it broke through that rejection, clean traffic all the way down. That's how you stay out of bad trades. That's why I'm not too keen on taking buys there. Ultimately, if we wanted to take buys, it would have to be above 162,300, which it's probably not getting there today. That would probably be something for next week if we were to remain bullish there. Let's check out EURUSD. Sorry. Okay, check out Euro USD daily. Okay, so over the past year, Euro USD has been in a steady downtrend, been kind of in this channel right here. That was a terrible line, but well, we've been in that channel right there, kind of pressing down, but we are making new highs, breaking structure right here. So we've seen some heavy pushes up with not very many retracements. So over the next couple weeks, I'm expecting price to come back down into this zone right inside of there to fill those inefficiencies in there, where we can then make another leg to the upside over the next year probably. And I do expect Euro USD to be somewhere up in the 1.14s over by the end of this year. On the 4-hour, we are breaking structure here, creating lower lows and lower highs, so could be starting a little downward trend into these levels like I was talking about. There's price inefficiencies right inside of here which need to be filled before they move up, so I do expect it to drop down into these areas first before we see another leg up. This is a good example of a good buy situation, potential buy situation. So that rule I was talking about earlier, where you can't take a impulse entry from a push that's down here, that's this candle right here. But now we're seeing a nice support being formed up here. So once this support forms, you start seeing a new channel create. Then you can take buys at the break of this high, and you look left, and there's nothing but clean traffic right here. So we should see a mirror of that move if we were to break that high to continue upwards to somewhere within 1.06, somewhere inside of there. As for sell side, that's actually a decent setup. Where's that low? So if we look left, we kind of have the same thing. This is the ultimate low of this support. So if we did break low below that, you've got, it's not perfect traffic, but you've got relatively clean traffic to the left, where we can make the next move down to these areas down inside of there. But for me personally, I think the buys look better overall, but I do expect the push down on Euro USD. So I can see either way happening. I would prefer the buy side, just because of the way that traffic is set up on the left of it. Let's go back to US30s, take a look. Yeah, so we created that, and now we're breaking below that. So you could actually take a trade right here, enter here, put it, so this candle's really small, so you could put your stop above that previous candle and then target the downside right there. This is before the open, so definitely have high risk involved there, because as you know, the open likes to jump around a lot before it makes its move. But we'll see if this gives us our push down. We also did have NFP right before this, so who knows what kind of volume we're going to get at the open. We'll just have to kind of use this as a learning day. I'm not actually going to take any trades, but we'll just kind of keep an eye on this, see how, if there's a good move, we can make note of this for the next NFP. And then we can see how we could have caught that specific trade. So let's do this over here. So if the opening bell, if we get a good close here, the next candle is what's really important right before the opening bell, because if we get a close here and then the candle that goes from 9:25 to 9:30, if we see that candle close back up inside of here, that's when it gets a little difficult, because you had the opening bell, or you had the push down before the opening bell, then you had it push back inside the opening bell. This is what happened to us yesterday. This is basically the same setup from yesterday. Um, but if it closes down here, the next candle respects this candle's high and doesn't break that, then we should see a continuation from the opening bell to continue to drive price downwards. Especially where we saw this push up with NFP, I am expecting the opening to correct this move down to somewhere inside of this zone. So we'll just kind of have to sit here, wait and see. Again, it's really about just paying attention to candle structure, reading the candles. I'm a big believer in letting the candles kind of tell you a story on where they want to go. Had a weak close right there, which is not ideal, but this candle is the important one. So we'll see how it closes. Ideally, we would want it to respect the high of this previous candle. That would give us the best clue that we're going to continue downwards. If we were to make that top wick, respect this previous candle's high, and then break the low of this previous candle, that should help us continue downwards. So now we just wait. Looks like we're about to break the high of that, so we might just head up to the next level. It's probably going for stops. And then it'll probably do the same thing yesterday, where it'll go for it, and then we're breaking up. And then we'll break below after the opening bell. That's just kind of the risk you take when you take anything before the opening bell, especially this close to it. You don't know which direction it's going to go before. It's best to kind of wait for it to show you right when it opens. It's best to wait for it to show you which direction it wants to go and then try to join in with it, rather than try to anticipate it before, which you can definitely do, but it likes to fake out a lot. So see what happens here. Now we have this new low right here. We got 2.5 minutes till opening bell. Again, I'm not sure what kind of volume we're going to see, because we did just have NFP, which had this huge move up, and it is a Friday. So those are the kind of things you need to keep in mind. Those are the kind of days where you need to decrease risk, because there's so many different things going on. At the end of the weekly candle, we had a big news event this morning, which had this huge push up. And we're still in the holiday seasons for the most part, so it's just the volume's been a lot lower over this last couple weeks, so you've seen a lot more fake outs and stuff out of these ranges. I think over the hopefully next week, it should be pretty much back to normal volumes, starting Monday, hopefully. So we got minute 30. we got a minute 30, and if we can leave a nice rejection wick candle right here, that would be awesome. Even if we could see this candle flip to a bearish candle. So a lot of times what you'll see happen is you'll see this push up, and then at the last probably like 15-30 seconds before the close of this last 5-minute candle before the open, you see it completely flip, then break that low, and a lot of times it will leave you in the dust before the open. It'll just keep going, and then the open comes and it just continues to die. So we'll see if we can get a candle flip here. That would be the best case. We're starting to push back up, so we'll see. "25 seconds. I would be actually surprised if we just saw a continuation of this impulse from NFP. I expect it to come down first. Oh, it's our rejection wick. Here's the open. We'll see what happens. Starting to break the low and see how far we go. 53-point stop. So our 1-to-1 is going to be right here. Mark this level. What we don't want to happen is this. We don't want to see that rejection. Yeah. We don't want to see that candle flip. We want to see it continue pushing up. If it has, there should be so much volume that it shouldn't even think about coming back and flipping this candle. If it does, then you're probably looking at a move up. So we'll see, but it's not looking good. If it does flip. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. It's completely normal for this candle to jump back up in and jump up, jump back, jump up, jump back, jump all the way up, then all the way back. There's so much volume coming into the market. There's two sides fighting for direction. So got people, so many institutions opening and closing. Just give us 33,154. It will be interesting to see how this candle closes. If we close outside the range, then we're looking good. But if we do close with that rejection, probably gonna head back up top somewhere, up inside the zone. You do not want to be trading inside the zone. Yeah, so we're inside the zone now. Probably gonna get slapped right there. Yep, we were close. About halfway. That kind of sucks. Oh well. You can definitely tell there's not. That's why you don't necessarily want to trade on days like this where you had that news event, because you can tell a lot of the volume's just, it's not there today. We had that big move up already, so I'll be interested to see if we break this high, where we're gonna go next, because looking at here, so the high is right here. So next levels are really close. 33,360 ish, and then ultimately 33,400. Still targeting that high 33.5. We'll see what happens if we break this high though. Let's mark potential areas. Where are we? See, that's why I'm not too big on taking the buys, especially because now your stop loss is gonna have to be clear down here, 33,170. If it were to break, your stop's gonna be about 144 points, and these ranges are not even close to being able to 50-point range to that one, which is probably the one where it would potentially turn around. But if it does manage to break through that, then you're around 100. That's still not as big as your stop loss, so that's not even worth it to take buys there. We had a strong 2-minute close. This one's gonna break the high, so we'll keep an eye on this candle right here. Might just reject that, and we might just sit inside of this zone for the rest of the day. It might just wait here until Monday morning, where we can then look for something if it doesn't break out right here, which it might. But with the low volume today, I would not expect it to go very far today. Halfway to 33.70. Yeah, so super bullish on the hourly and the lower time frames just from that NFP move up. So I'm kind of surprised it didn't retrace more for the New York session opening bell, but that's probably because it was a news event. So 5-minute candle broke here, so you could have this candle would not have been a valid entry, but this one would have been potentially. The problem was there was no stop loss, or there was no wick on the bottom, so you did half risk, but break there, you would have had your stop below there, and that would have easily hit 1-to-1 there. But look at this rejection wick. So I think for the most part, there's really not going to be any moves during this session just because we already had that big move. So I would not be surprised if we range till Monday morning, where we see that volume come in, and then we can break out of this range. And hopefully next week we break out of this terrible daily range that we're in, because this makes trading incredibly difficult when you don't have a daily bias to follow. So I think that is it. Yeah, just fake outs everywhere today. Keep an eye on this low for the rest of the session. If that's broken, then we're probably going to see it to the downside now that we have that new low formed. We also have this new high formed, which rejected exactly where I thought, right inside of this 360 level. So that rejected in there. Now we're making a move back down. We're inside the range again, and it's a Friday, so we're not going to take any trades today for sure, especially with the news event. Just use it as a learning day. Sometimes it's easier to look at the lower time frames while you're watching price move with high volume, just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. You did have a impulse leg up which broke this structure, and we're chasing in there, but it did move right into this rejection area in there. So you could see a move back up, but yeah, I doubt it. And we're gonna break the low right here potentially. So I'd be interested to see if we break this low now. Yeah, if we break this low now, then we can continue down to 3,300 at least. It's just the volume's not there today. The momentum's not there. So if we break there on the 5-minute, you wouldn't be able to take this trade because your stop loss would be clear up here. You could try to do a kind of a riskier play on the 2-minute, where you used a 2-minute candle instead of a 5-minute candle, because this 2-minute candle is breaking that low right now. So you could place your stop above there, enter here, and then continue downwards to there. So we'll see what happens. Looks like this is gonna be potentially the actual move. So yeah, you could have done something like this. Enter there, stop loss there, and then target down below there. Like this should continue downwards, but that's it for me today, guys. No trade today, but Monday should be hopefully we get a trade in on Monday. I don't think there's any news or anything like that. There's no holidays, so a lot of people are getting back to work and school this next week, so should be good next week, hopefully. And I will see you guys then. So peace out.